Welcome to the Bama Bo Show. I'm your host, Bama Bo.
Raised in the Bible Belt, he learned early about heaven and hell in the land of the free and the home of the Crimson Tide.
Today, I'm doing things a little bit differently because when you've got a guest on, like I'm going to have today, you got to kick it off with a little mood music, right? So you got to start with a little Alabama music and really pump this up because this is a super exciting show. So before I get to this guest that we have all been waiting for, let me give out a few thanks early on just because this show would not be possible without these folks. So I want to thank Title Towel for being a part of the show. You can give them a follow on Twitter. It's at Title Towel. Go to their website, whitwillsports.com. Get you some Alabama gear, super affordable, and you will thank me later. Also, a thanks to Soul Street Coffee, the coffee of the Bama Bo Show. Look them up on Twitter. It's at Soul ST Coffee. You can go to their website. It's soulstreetcoffee.com. Get you some coffee. And they've got a lot of cool stuff going on. They're going to have some promotions, some stuff to kick the season off. So give them a follow. So I really appreciate those guys for helping me out. Also, I want to give a thanks to Darren Duke for letting me use his song. Look Darren Duke up on iTunes. Look him up on YouTube. He's everywhere. So today I am super excited to have a legendary football player from Alabama. He was on that 92 team that won the national championship. George Teague. I cannot be more thrilled to have this guy on the show. So, what can I say? Adrenaline pumping today. This is going to be phenomenal. Let's get right into it and let's get to this interview with George Teague.
From his t-shirt from 92 to his faded deuce, his loose tattoo. Need to ask one look, and you just knew he's crimson through and through.
Alabama legend, 1992 championship team member, NFL superstar, George Teague. George, welcome to the show. I'm so honored to have you. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great. Other than this morning, it started off kind of slow. I think I put that out already, but it's a great day to be alive. I'm happy. And I have no complaints.
You know, since you brought it up, anybody that follows you on Twitter probably saw your rant about the DMV this morning. And I think it's so funny, too, because we can all relate. We can all relate to that, George.
Hey, I don't understand it. I really don't. I don't understand how we can pay our taxes. We can give all this money to the government. We go to a little simple little place like this, and it's 2-hour wait, 3-hour wait, and just have angry people out there. But anyway, it's fun just to kid around that stuff. You know, I shouldn't have been late with my driver's license. I should have just did it online.
There you go. There you go.
But I mean.
Well, I want to ask you a few questions, George, just before we get into what everybody wants to hear. I want to know about, and I think fans want to know. So you've been very open about your background. Your dad was in the military. Y'all traveled quite a bit. And you ended up in, if I'm not mistaken, Montgomery. Is that right?
That's right. So I didn't move to Alabama until my second semester of my 9th grade year. Most people probably didn't know that. Probably thought I grew up there all the time.
Exactly, yeah.
So I went to Cloverdale High School, or Cloverdale Junior High, and then went to Jeff Davis High School, before I went to Alabama.
Tell us about your recruitment and how you ended up with the Crimson Tide.
Okay, and it's pretty interesting, and I hope people don't get upset about it or whatnot, because obviously since I moved around a lot, Alabama wasn't the team that I grew up thinking that I was going to play at.
Sure.
I was born in Michigan and moved all over the place, so I was pretty open-minded about where I would go to school. And it wasn't until my junior year when I actually started getting recruited heavily, by the big schools and from across the country, particularly the SEC. So I didn't even know if it was really going to be an opportunity, because I didn't grow up thinking I was going to play college football or even the pros. Wasn't a goal of mine. So once I started getting the phone calls and able to start making some trips, I boiled it down to 5 schools. It was Alabama, Auburn, Georgia Tech, Vanderbilt, and Clemson.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so I did visit a lot. I did, do some unofficial visits with some other schools, Georgia, and shoot, I can and go on about that, but it boiled down to it. And I almost, it's going to hurt some people's feelings, right? But I really thought I was going to end up in Auburn, and I think I might have told you this before or someone that I liked Auburn all the way up to the time I took the trip. Sat in front of Pat Dye, and it just, we didn't click, and I didn't like the city. I didn't like what was going on out there. It was, come on now, I was a 18-year-old kid, 17-year-old boy.
Sure.
And we started to ask what were we going to do that night, and they gave me some options, Mrs. Bamabo. It was, we can go horseback riding, or we can go to Tuskegee, the party. And I said, these are my choices. I'm out. So I stayed in my room, and that was the end of my Auburn kick.
Well, we're ever so thankful for that.
Yeah. Come on, man. Horseback ride?
Well, so what happened? What happened when you visited Alabama? Can you tell us a little bit about that?
I can. So, and then I had my visit to Alabama. It was wonderful, of course. It was a great trip, great visit. But what really happened was I really, and I had a really good relationship, I'll say, with Bill Curry going even before my official visit. But he's the guy that really sealed the deal for me. I mean, he spent a lot of time with me then. He spent a lot of time with my family, in Montgomery, coming to our small little house out there and hanging out with us and really getting to know us. And he was such a motivator and a disciplinarian. He kind of reminded me of my dad from the military side, just everything on time, on pace. There wasn't a second that wasn't accounted for. And I think that really drew me to that. And plus, they're very, very good. And so it was a sell, an easy sell, because my top two were actually Georgia Tech and Alabama in the end.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, because I wanted to be an engineer. So I was really interested in Georgia Tech. But they were 1-10. Bama was 10-2. Whatever.
And I would think, George, a lot of the younger generation probably didn't even realize you were recruited by Curry. Everybody associates you with Gene Stallings.
Yep. And that's right. They don't even think about it as Jim Stallings, but I didn't come in under that. And, that was a hard time for me when Curry left. We see so much and think about, hear all the transfer portal and people moving and all that. And I was kind of in the same mind frame for a minute, like, man, all the people I trusted just got fired and gone, and what's it going to be like when, Coach Stallings comes in, or I got a new defensive coordinator, new defensive back coach. So I was really like, man, what am I going to do? But thankfully, I decided just to grind it out and compete with whoever was going to be there. Rest is history.
Wow. See, we love the honor and the commitment, right? There's just something to that. I mean, the fans, we appreciate you honoring it. That's for sure. Because, look, you came alive. You absolutely came alive and made a name for yourself. And how did you click with Stallings, by the way?
Man, it was awesome. It was awesome. So let me I'm going to answer this question, but I at least want to say to any of the youth that may be listening to this, this is what I advise kids now when they're going to college to play football. I tell them to go to where they want to graduate from. Something else. Go to where you want to get your degree from.
That's good.
And I think that's what helped me stay there. That's what helped me stay there. That, I was committed to the whole process, the football, the education, the community. So that's what really made me stick it out.
That's good advice. I just have to say that, though, because that, the thing about it is it's more than football. It's more than football.
I appreciate it. And so Coach Stallings, he was similar but different than Curry, and I really liked this side of him too because he still was hard disciplinarian, tough on guys, made us work, held us accountable, that kind of stuff. But he kind of gave us a little bit different kind of freedoms where he didn't necessarily have the big military side of being in your room at a certain time and turning off the lights. We really had to do everything with Bill Curry. 11 o'clock, lights out. You know, Coach Stallings was more, hey, be in the dorm at 10. Somebody don't even know what that is probably since they don't have athletic dorms like that anymore. But we had to be in our football dorm, but you didn't necessarily have to go sleep. We knew where you were, get guys off the street, and it could be a whole other topic that we have because I think it brings the closeness of the team so much more because we still were up at midnight or whatever, but we were at least in our own dorm, just hanging out, playing cards or beforehand. So he's a mentor to me. I've still had the opportunity to talk to him, even recently, to see how he's doing, his health, and he asks the same question all the time: how's your wife? How's your kids? You still, learning, being educated. And that's just the way he was, and I appreciated that.
Oh, wow. That's awesome. And you're right, though, about the whole nother subject on that. And I think I know where you were going with that. It's just as far as I like the fact that he gave you a little freedom, but he's basically like, okay, you come in and we know where you are, but you can certainly hang out with your teammates and whatever and play cards and chill and do what you want to do. And it's not really lights out. That's kind of cool.
Well, because he knew everybody was going to sneak out, or try to go be with the guy somewhere else. So at least you can say, hey, we don't have to, you still can play music and, have your TV on, your doors open. It was, like we were still active, without just being told to go to your room and cut the light off and go to sleep. It wasn't like that. Now, that really helped us bond. I think that's why we were so good, too, or why we ended up getting better. Not necessarily because of what we were doing on the field, but it was because of what we were doing in our dorm room or in our living quarters, because we were able to really get to know everybody in some kind of fashion. You're going into each other's rooms or just hanging out in the big center area, playing dominoes, cards, doing nothing, video games. It was really, really cool. That was one of the most, I think, things I remember the most and that I had cherished the most were those Thursday nights when everybody was out at the club. We were in the dorm stuck, bonding, getting ready for our game on Saturdays. It's kind of cool.
That really is cool. And can I ask you, just out of curiosity, because a lot of us that don't know what goes on behind the scenes are completely fascinated by people. I am extremely fascinated about stuff like this. So, like, who was your closest friends, or can you tell us just who did you hang out with the most as far as your teammates?
No, we were definitely, I'm going to use the word divided, but that's not what I really mean because we're a close team. But I hung around all the defensive backs. That is what we did. Didn't mean I didn't hang out with wide receivers or running backs and all that kind of stuff. But Antonio Langham, we were very, very close. Sam Shade is one of my best friends, still is. Could do everything with him. We were very tight. Again, he wanted to be an engineer too, so we were kind of studying some of the same stuff. Lamansky Hall was my roommate. We were very close, still are very, very close. Some of you may remember this name. A good friend of mine, very close to Darren Greenwood. We're very close with. Man, I can name all of them because we were so close. Tommy Johnson.
Yeah, I remember all those names. Yeah.
But we did everything together. It didn't matter. We were going to Wingstop. We're all eating, or not Wingstop, Buffalo Wild Wing. What's the name of it? Wings and Things.
Yeah.
It used to be called. Now it's Buffalo Fields or something like that. But my point is just we did absolutely everything together. Stacey Harrison, Lee Osment, whatever, all the people, every time we were there, that's where the term X-Clan came from. You hear Mark McMillan, all them. We were so much, all DBs were going to the same place, the same thing. We're going to protect each other, make sure guys don't get in trouble. whatever. So anywhere we went to go eat, we were gone. If we were going to go hang out somewhere, everybody was together. I don't know if guys do that now, honestly, but that's how we were. So I'm still talking to Langham today. I still talk to Shade today the most. Prince Wembley,
Yeah.
very good friend of mine too. We talk a lot as well. Those are probably my closest 3 Alabama buddies right now.
Wow, it's so cool to hear those names and all of those guys. I know every one of those names, and I'm sure you know this, but here in Birmingham, Antonio Langham he's got a radio show with Jay Barker I listen to.
Man, he is hilarious. He's silly. Golly, he's silly.
Definitely.
Try to get him to come coach for me. He won't do it. He won't leave Alabama.
He's great. I listen to him on the radio all the time. And I just love those stories. I love those like locker room stories. I mean, all fans do. And you were talking about it being divided. And just from what I hear currently, it is still that way. You still hear it. You hear the wide receivers with each other and the DBs with each other. I think it's still pretty much that same way, George. That's really cool, though. I mean, that's just the way it is.
Well, it's like a unit. I know I use a lot of military references, but that's like, you're with your group, you're with your team, within a team, all trying to get the same goal. So we could argue and fight and jam up against the wide receivers, but in the end, we knew we all had the same goal.
Yeah.
And we could do everything together as a team, but we could compete against them at a very high level and not be so mad about it, later on that we became dysfunctional. That never happened. It was awesome.
That's so cool. And I'm going to lead up to obviously the championship game, but I want to ask you just your thoughts on the team that particular season leading up to that game, because that defense, good Lord, that was, I mean, I say to this day, it's still probably one of the best defenses I have ever seen put out on the field was that team. And just leading up to that game, y'all were stingy, George. Stingy with points.
Mm-hmm. Here's what most people probably don't know. If you scored a touchdown on us, we were pissed. And that's not supposed to happen. So, if you got 7, then it really, really got cranked up. Our goal was really to field goal at best. And if you got that, we still were upset. And I can remember playing in some games. It is unbelievable to even think like that. But that was kind of our deal, man. We're not going to let them score, because if we don't let them score, we know we're going to win. Doesn't matter what our offense does. We're going to get a field goal. We're going to do something. We're going to be happy with 3-0 or 7-6 or whatever it is, and we're going to win that way. And if the offense can't score, we're going to score on defense. I mean, it was so much attitude, and everybody bought into it. So it was a letdown. If I gave up a pass or a catch or someone caught the ball in the end zone on me, oh my gosh, I didn't have to go face the coach. I had to go face my teammate. Like, what are you doing? So, I mean, I can remember playing LSU and knocking the ball down the back of the end zone and just like sigh of relief that I was beat and just knocking through like, oh my gosh, just more because I didn't want to let my teammates down. And so it's really unreal of the attitude that we have. So, we boast about it, right? We still talk about 92 defense.
Well, you got to. It's one of the best ever.
Yeah, and I know the game has changed. And, it's maybe easier for offenses to score and that kind of stuff. And we have some very, very good defenses now. I totally get it. But, I just think the makeup was different. The way our rules were, what we could not do. And, the whole people to 7-8 points a game, that's hard to do at any point in time, especially in the SEC. And we were able to do it.
Yeah, and going into what I just want to pick your brain about your mindset going into that championship game, because Miami was and they the Heisman guy and they were supposed to win, and you guys came out and you could see it in your faces. You came out mad. I mean, you just looked mad, like all of y'all were just out to prove something, and you could tell it. And George, I'm just going to set a quick stage for you. So the game starts and Alabama kicks to Miami, and you were on special teams. And I think a lot of people may forget that too, because you were intricate on special teams. But you made the first tackle of the entire game, and of course, leading up to it, the announcers are talking about this kick returner and how great he was for Miami. And you came flying down that field, and it looked like you'd been shot out of a cannon. And you come flying down the field, and you were the first one to tackle the guy in bad field position from then on. And that set the stage for the game to me. Y'all just were mad from the beginning. I mean, what was your mindset, George? Like, it was crazy.
Well, first of all, we weren't getting any credit from anybody. I don't remember the name of the one guy that picked us to win, all the writers or whatever. So we felt like we were not being fairly treated as far as being the football team that we were. And then some of the guys down on Bourbon Street, I wasn't there. Yeah, I wasn't there. So there was a big brawl down there, and Miami was disrespecting us quite a bit and talking a lot of trash. And it was like going into a heavyweight fight, being the underdog and saying, like they're going to smash us and run all over us. And, they had a lot of talented guys. And so it just kind of built up that right from the beginning, we got to jump on these guys. Now, remember what I just told you about our goal, right?
Mm-hmm.
Not letting anybody score. Man, we gave up one touchdown, and they shouldn't have got that one. Mind you, folks, if you listen to this, you shouldn't have got that one because about 8 of us missed Kevin Williams on the doggone punt return. I'm still calling my boy Mario Morris now, saying, man, why you missed that tackle? Let him score. Because they shouldn't even score. It should have been 34-6. It should have been. But anyway, I digress. So, it was, we had a lot of guys with attitude. You've been around, you're listening to Antonio. As nice as he is, he's, but could be about as cocky as they come to when it comes to the game. And all of us were like that. We're good people, humble, but man, you start coming messing with our territory or our turf. No, that wasn't allowed, man. It wasn't allowed. So
there was a lot of scuffles before that game, and they were actually talking about it, on TV before. I mean, Miami was really causing a stink.
Then the old Miami and the old Luke Skywalker and Rap, all the people that were around them, the girls and the chains and the hair, whatever, all that kind of stuff. It just wasn't who we were. We were two totally different teams, and we had to stand up for the good guys, like put it that way.
Yeah,
we had to be the
right.
good guy and win.
That's right.
Because most of the time, good guys coming last some of the time, and we're like, no, that's not going to be us. We're still going to be classy. We're going to handle our business. We're going to win in between the whistles, and it needed to start right from the beginning. So were we hyped? To the fans, anybody that was there, bro, you can't even believe actually how loud it was, or what it was deafening. I mean, in all the games I've ever played in, it's been nothing like that before, from the beginning to the end. And so that really had us amped and hyped. So that's why I ended up cramping up in the third quarter too. Probably had a little bit too much energy going on there.
Yeah, you scared everybody when you went down on the field. I remember that. But, George, it's kind of funny. And before we get to, of course, the play that everybody remembers you for, you actually had the play in that game that I thought was the nail in the coffin, because there was an interception, and forgive me, I can't think of who picked it off, but it was the play right before, and Alabama scores. And then Gino Torretta gets the ball right back, and it's probably the second play maybe of that drive where he throws what looks like a little screen, and you break on the ball and intercept it and go to the end zone. And that was the nail in the coffin at that point. That game was over at that point, I thought. That to me just totally changed it.
Well, I'm going to say, so yeah, you're right, and I can't remember if it was Tommy Johnson or Sam Shade. They got the interception that you're talking about.
I want to say Johnson. I'm not 100%.
Yeah, so it might have been Tommy Johnson. And then, when we got to that play, and so you study football a lot, and you get to see it. You can kind of tell, especially if you watch a lot of film and you really pick up on people's tendencies. And that particular play, I knew exactly what the play was going to be. Now, that's from Coach Bill Oliver, our defensive coordinator there, having us so primed and ready and prepped that we knew what they were going to do. I mean, we were that focused, and I can remember it because we would study it, see this play. Hey, when we see this situation, this is what they are going to run. Now, here's the funny part about that play. I wasn't even supposed to be on him, but I already knew what it was. That's true. But I knew exactly what it was. And so if you go back and watch the play, I didn't even look at the wide receiver. I jammed him and I got it because I just knew the ball was coming. And he threw it right to me.
Yeah, he did.
He threw it right to me. So as much as I like to take credit for him being an athlete and that type of stuff, that is, I give all the credit to Coach Oliver for that, because he had us so ready, and just broke it down so simple that, guys, this is what we're going to get. And when you line up like this, just be ready for it. And I trusted him. I believed in him. Gave my quick jam, turn and look, man, fall right there.
It was a thing of beauty. And even the announcers, I'm sure you probably watched the game. Even the announcers gave the credit, talking about film study and just talking about knowing tendencies. And that was really cool because they really gave credit to you for studying, and then the defensive coordinators for having you guys ready. And that's kind of exactly what happened on that play. But I got to ask you, too, because so many people have wanted me to ask you, what was up with this 11 men on the line of scrimmage? Who came up with that and why? Because, my gosh, Gino Torretta, if he could have called 20 timeouts, he would have.
I want to hit on another point that you brought up about when you thought the game ended. I want to tell you when I thought the game ended.
Oh, please do.
I thought the game ended. I think we all knew the game was over when you go back and watch it one more time, when Gino Torretta took the snap, went backwards, and fell down on his own.
I remember that.
I don't know if you remember.
I do.
That was the time when we all looked at each other in the huddle, and we all said, I don't know if you got bleeps in this thing or not, we got his ass now. We knew then that this is it. We got to punch on the gas. From a defensive perspective.
Oh, that's incredible.
And so, yes, that was the big moment in our game. And so, now going back to the 11-up stuff, because you have the whole month to try to get ready for this game. Originally, we didn't have that in. And then just one day, Coach Oliver, defensive coordinator, came in and said, man, we're going to work on this. We're going to try this. We're going to put everybody on the line of scrimmage. And we're going to have, a couple different coverages out of it where you just got a time. Because we knew if we sat back there and just let Gino Torretta see where we were at with the weapons he had, that he probably would be able to shred us, or at least play a little bit better than he did. So he felt like, hey, if everybody gets up on the line, we know he hadn't seen it. It's going to be something new. They're going to have to try to figure out what we're doing. And so once we got up there, and we had to practice it because it's timing, safety's running backwards, man, it's terrifying, right?
Mm-hmm.
Playing against these wide receivers, you're all the way up on the line, and you're telling me I got deep half coverage? I'm like, Coach, bro, I know I'm supposed to go to the league now or whatever, but man, but he just, hey, just trust me, man. Just trust me. And so we worked on it and just going. And again, it was because he felt like he knew what they were going to call or what they were going to run, and we were doubling guys and flipping things out and mixing stuff in. And there was another key moment in the game, right? Because first time we jumped in there, what do they do? Timeout.
Timeout.
Like, oh, hey, know, another case. We now we can do this because they don't know. We knew we had 2 or 3 different things, so they didn't know when we were going to blitz, when we were going to zone. We're um, so it was genius. But that's I don't know where he was sitting at, where Coach Oliver was sitting at. If he was at home in his living room, at the bar, or up in his office. Um, but he totally put that together for us. It's pretty cool.
Well, it was the neatest thing ever, and you could tell as it progressed that it was really messing with Toretta's mental clock. He couldn't get rid of that ball fast enough.
2 reasons. Now, there's more. Someone will be mad, but there's 2 reasons. Eric Curry and John Copeland. That's all he knew. So he had to get rid of it.
That's true. I've always heard the stories, and I don't know if they're true, George, but I've always heard those stories that Copeland and Curry would come up to him and say, "We'll be right back." Is that true?
Have you ever met Eric Curry? Yes, it's true. Oh my gosh.
They'd pick him up supposedly and say, "We'll be right back."
Yes, sir, man. We had some really good personalities on our team. Fun ones like that, but serious competitors. But man, when you got the 4th and 5th pick, as linemen up in front of you, man, shoot, I loved it as a defensive back having them guys up there. I was feeding them too. I was buying them extra hot wings. I was treating them like that's my girlfriend. So, buying them food. What y'all need? Yeah, you can borrow my car. Go ahead.
It's funny, that mindset, George, and I'll tell you this just really quickly before we get into the other, but it just reminded me of something. I listened to a radio show in Tuscaloosa, The Game with Ryan Fowler, and on Wednesdays, Gene Stalling calls in, and he takes calls. And I try to call as often as I can, but I always ask him defensive questions because I love defense. And it doesn't matter what I ask him. I could ask him about the secondary. I could ask him about, linebackers, corners, too high safety, whatever. And every answer he says, well, it starts with the guys up front. They got to get pressure on the quarterback. That is his philosophy.
That is right. That is right. And I bought into it. I was going to give them whatever they needed all the time. We'll get Eric Curry and them on. They'll tell you, shoot, you can stay in my room, whatever you need to do. It didn't matter because I needed them to get some pressure. I knew it was going to help me, in the long run. So we love the guys up front.
Yeah, that's awesome, and I do too. I mean, you can't help but love those guys. That Lord help, and seriously, that Copeland and Curry duo, good Lord. All right, but let's get to the famous play, George. I mean, this is the funniest thing because you can look it up on YouTube. You can just look up the strip and you come up because it's the famous play that never happened, but nobody's ever seen it. You'll never see it again. It was insane. So walk us through it from start to where you saw the flag.
One of your fans, one of your Twitter fans, actually had this right, so I'll give him the credit and whatnot. Because I'll get to on how it all went down, but I really was out of position.
Oh, the Gadsden thing, yeah.
Yeah, so we had all of the energy going. It just come off the interception, and when your adrenaline is going like that, you just naturally get winded, right? Because of the atmosphere and all this stuff. And so this play was, I don't even remember what down distance was. It was 3rd down, something short. And I had so much confidence in all of our guys that I literally thought, okay, I probably can rest a little bit, try to find a way to grab some of my air, right? Mm-hmm. And so we had man-to-man called, and I was kind of loafing, and I saw the ball go in the air, and I saw Willie Gaston not in position where he needed to be, and I panicked because I saw him catch it. I was like, oh my gosh, I am so far out of position. Now I know I'm talking, that's about how I was talking in my head, really. And at that point, it was it goes back into everything I just said. I knew that I was going to have a problem with my teammates. Got to go to score. I was going to have a problem with Coach Stallings. You know, he was going to be very, very upset. And the only thing kicked in was all the track work I did, all the speed drills, all the other stuff, all the don't quit, don't run off the screen, don't pull a hamstring. You know, everything just go. And man, so fear will definitely make you do some things that you may not be able to do every single play. And so once I got to him, Tina, I really wasn't thinking about taking the ball. I knew I was going to catch him. So I knew at some point there that I was going to catch him. And all I wanted to do was strip the football. That I was going to do. Because Coach Oliver always taught us, strip the ball, strip the ball, strip the ball. So when I hit it, I still don't know how I hit down and it came up. That's a spiritual thing for me. I was thinking like, well, here it is. So I just let it go and took the ball and went the other direction, right? So then emotions took over, and since I really didn't think it was that kind of play, I knew it was a big play just because I chased it down, took the ball, started, you know, but I didn't think it would be iconic, I guess. And by the time, I don't even think the refs really knew what was going on because it was like a long pause, drawn out. You know, it took us a long time to get off the field because everybody was on. I think everybody was like, what just happened? Is it an interception? What is this? And we were celebrating so much that I never saw the flag until I'm already on the sideline now. I just snatched my helmet off and doing this and like, Teague, we got to go back. I'm like, what?
Oh.
Because I was gassed. I didn't have any more energy. And that was the first time that I had to take a hit of the oxygen tank. I've never done that ever in my career. That was the first time. I had to put that little gas mask over my face so I could get back in the game later because I was beat.
So you didn't even see it until you were on the sideline.
I didn't know. I really didn't know. I was going and I really lost it. I mean, in emotion, you know, that it was another moment where we did something to deflate them. And so I didn't even know who it was till later, I guess, you know, like, I mean, a week later that, hey, it was Antonio that was, you know, offsides. I wasn't even into it like that. I didn't even think about it. Just like, man, what is going on? What? So it was a little bit of confusion, but we're all happy that they didn't score a touchdown. So
no kidding.
It was all good.
No kidding. And, were you one of the fastest guys on the team, George?
The answer is yes. I think probably there may be some debate about this, but I'm going to say Kevin Lee was probably the fastest guy, wide receiver, track guy. He might have been pure just 100 fastest guy, but I'd always been, you know, fairly quick. For whatever reason, I don't know why everybody thought I was 4'6", you know, maybe 4'5", 40. I don't know why. Maybe I looked like I played slow or something. I don't know where it came from. But even when I was getting drafted, everybody thought I was like slow. I mean, so when I ran a 4.41 officially, 4.36 unofficial at Pro Day, they're all kind of looking like, where'd this come from? I'm like, what film you been watching? I don't know. So,
it was an eye-opener on that game because, you know, you chased down the fastest guy, supposedly the fastest guy in college football, and took the ball away from him. If it wasn't bad enough you chased him down, you took his ball, George. I mean...
Well, you know, he and Lamar and I talk now, right? We ended up playing each other, so I don't mind saying this stuff about him. But he was a big the biggest trash talker out of everybody that they had. I mean, he ran his mouth and talked so much. Um, he was a very good receiver. But that day we just had his number, and for I don't know, karma. I don't know what you believe in or how you think about stuff, or how stuff come back to you, but sometimes we just got to be careful what we say, who we talk to, what kind of positions we put ourselves in, because people come after you. And for me, just to be in that position, meaning having the opportunity to go make a play. It
Yeah.
wasn't about him at that time. It was really just, hey, like I said, hey, I made a mistake. I need to cover this up.
Yeah.
Then it turned out the other way, and I think well, I know he took it personal because we weren't friends for a long time. Even when we played together, it was kind of hard for us to have a relationship. When we both were at the Dolphins. Now, imagine that. We both end up on the same football team.
I think it just made it that more funny too, George, because if you watch it on TV, you just weren't even in the screen. He's running with the ball, and you weren't even in the screen, and you just came out of nowhere. So it just looked hilarious, to just come out of nowhere and chase him down. And I just think that added some intrigue to it as well. But what?
Are you trying to say it looked cartoonish?
It did. Yes. Yes. You were a freak show out there. Yes. It was crazy. And then, all right, so you answered the question a while ago about when you thought the game was over when Gino Toretta fell. But is there some truth to, well, I know there's truth to it, but I've never played the sport. But you hear it a lot. Like defensive players will say they can see it in the quarterback's eyes, that there's blood in the water. Can you explain that?
Okay, so you have a child, a grown one now, or at least getting ready to go off. And you remember that look when when he was 7 or 8 and he knew he was in trouble?
Yeah.
He kind of looked at you.
Yeah.
It is the exact same look, like I'm in trouble. And the quarterbacks, all quarterbacks will do it. High school quarterbacks, college quarterbacks, pro quarterbacks, they all get you can tell, and as much as they want to try to have a poker face and say, we got this, that kind of thing, you can see it in their eyes that they know I'm struggling here.
Wow.
And I'm in trouble, and that is exactly. I mean, I've seen it multiple times in a lot of different games on all levels. I see it now as a coach when I see it in my quarterback. When I tell our coaches, we're in trouble, dude.
Wow.
Our quarterback is gone.
I want to come back to a couple of other things, but quickly, because I don't want to run out of time here. But George, I do want to talk about, because this has been the most popular question that has been posed to me to ask you, and it was hilarious. I've been getting DMs and text messages like crazy of people going, please ask him about Terrell Owens. So tell us about that game, George.
Okay. Not a whole lot of happiness about that game. We lost big time. It was hot. It was 104 degrees on that old Dallas turf. We're getting our butts handed to us by San Francisco. And T.O., very similar to Lamar Thomas, who's a very big trash talker, set the stage for you. He and I kind of talking about each other's mothers, saying kind words, just saying hello and this kind of stuff. And so we were battling all game. And he and I actually did get in a tussle early before. He took a cheap shot on me in the end zone.
I saw that, yeah.
Anyway, he kind of, took this deal. He was supposed to be spiking the ball. So, yeah, I was a little angry. But we were talking the whole time. So he goes out to the star, does his deal. Everybody kind of like, what? Then Emmett, thank God, he went out and, recaptured the star for us. And during the game, and we just knew that Terrell was going to try to go back. It's kind of the same, just bad attitude. And I knew he was going to score on that play. I knew he was going to score on the play the second time because of the matchup. And I was sitting there before the play, and this is probably the piece most people don't know. So I knew he was going to score. And I was wondering, what is he going to do? I knew there was going to be a celebration. but I didn't know what it was going to be. So he ran his out. He threw in the ball. I saw it. He was getting ready to, if you watch it closely, he was getting ready to cheer to the fans.
Yep.
And he changed his mind. Doesn't he start going? He took off, and I absolutely lost it. I said, no, sir. And I just took off. I wasn't planning on being it right at the start, in the middle of the field. I just knew we were going to go at it one way or the other. So it timed up perfectly and cost me $24,999 afterwards because I got kicked out of the game, and that's an automatic fine. So I'm accepting donations. Please go to my PayPal.
You know what's, hey, George, we got to know. Was it worth the fine? A little bit?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I do it all over again. You got to stand up for what's right. You don't let people disrespect your house. Doesn't matter if it's your field, your own yard, or whatever. Just certain things you can't let happen, and it's always been my stance: protect your turf. So it is what it is. He and I don't talk. We don't at all. I have tried to befriend him multiple times throughout while he was playing, because I retired right when he came to the Cowboys. But he won't give me time of day.
He's just not ready yet, George.
Man, we could have made some money or something together, though. Think about all the promotions we could have did. I'm trying to capitalize. I need that $25,000.
You should have at least made money on that gift that's going around with it,
I know. Got to find out the rules about that, too.
They're using it like crazy. But it's so, to bring this home, that's what fans love about you, George. That's what Alabama loved about you, is that you feel your honesty. People feel your honesty. People feel how much you love the sport, how much you loved Alabama. And then it went on to the Cowboys as well. You are deeply loved with Dallas. And it's because you are protective. And I think people just sense that about you. And that's so great and unique. And I really want to tie it back to some of the things that you're doing now. And I want you to talk about them so people can find you, because you're doing some really cool YouTube videos and you talk some politics and stuff. And I know it's touchy, and I get all that, but you're so real about it. And it's so cool. I've watched your stuff and I appreciate it. Somebody like me really appreciates somebody coming out and being honest about politics, because we don't have that. And for you to kind of put yourself out there and do what you're doing, we appreciate it as fans. And just tell the people a little bit about what you're doing and how they can find you on YouTube, George.
No, I appreciate it. So I'm a high school football coach now. I coach at John Paul II High School in Plano, Texas. Been coaching 16 years now. After I retired from the Cowboys, I took a year off and then got into coaching and being an athletic director. Done that the whole time. I really wasn't into social media and this stuff until, a few years ago. And my wife, Consuela, actually said, man, you need to get in this game a little bit, promote yourself. You don't have to do everything. Just go with Twitter. And so I just started dabbling in it. And so they can find me at Teague Football, And then we started messing with YouTube. My wife did the I Am Swayla channel, and I thought, well, want to do this because there's a lot of things that I want to talk about. A lot of people ask me on the side, hey, may be afraid. Hey, what do you feel about this? Especially being African American, right? And because I've kind of talked about Colin Kaepernick and some other stuff and social injustice, and people are really trying to figure out, well, who are you and what do you stand for? And I was like, well, why don't I just talk about it? And, just in a real way. No script, not trying to have an agenda, just tell you exactly what I feel. And so I was just sitting around on the cell phone one day, opened it up, and said, this is what we're going to do. Real talk.
Yeah.
With Teague. And so now, so I just love trying to keep it real in everything that we do. I don't think we need to be fake. I don't think we have to be rude, but I think we just need to let people know who we are and try to say it in a way where it's not divisive. As long as we can just give our points and be able to agree to disagree when we don't agree with each other's points of view. So that's what my YouTube channel is about. I'm gonna ask everybody to subscribe to that too. Come be a part of it. Come be part of say what I'm talking about, and I promise to keep it real all the time.
I love it. I love it. And before I let you go, I just want to say from a fan's perspective, George, because look, I've made no bones about it. I've said before, I'm in your age bracket. Everyone knows that. And all of these years, I have always stuck with the same thing. You are one of my top 5 all-time favorite players at Alabama. And I've never wavered from that. And it's mainly just because, I don't know, just something about your attitude. You were a fun player to watch. Just all kind of things went into that. But you just have always been one of my favorites. But I speak for a lot of fans when I say that, at least I think I do, that we appreciate you being on social media and actually interacting with us, because, a lot of people don't do that. And for you to take time to just, a laughing face or just a reaction of some sort means the world to somebody. And we appreciate you doing that. That's huge for a fan. And I just want to thank you from the Alabama fan base for being so kind to us.
Well, thank you very much. And I appreciate all the kindness and support that you give me and my family as well. And, we're going to always be there. We love Alabama football. We really do. We love Dallas Cowboy football. And we're sports fans, period. And so thank you to everyone. Thank you for allowing me to have this opportunity to come on your show. I want to be Twitter famous like you one day. Please help me get there.
I think you have no problem. I think you have no problem with it. And look, I really, I mean this. I hope you come back again, because I have loved talking to you, and I could pick your brain about so much more. And it's funny too, I'll tell you this really quickly, George. I could probably pick your brain about stuff that would bore other people. I like to know about plays, but sometimes you got to have paint it with a little bit of a broad brush. But I love to know all the interactions and things that goes on. I could spend a lot of time learning this stuff. And you've been great, and I appreciate your honesty. So, I hope you come back again and talk to me. I would love it. And this has meant the world.
How about we do this? Let's make an agreement right now for all the fans to hear, right?
Okay.
So when I get myself together and ready, when I get ready to launch my podcast, I want you to come on and be a guest host on my show too, where you can still question me, lead me, do this kind of stuff. Won't we do something like that in the future as well? I will always come be a part of your show. But I want you to come be a part of mine once I get it.
Oh my gosh.
How about that?
That would mean the world. Thank you so much. Listen, everybody heard it here. This is incredible. Yes, anytime, George. I mean that. You know where to find me. So, absolutely. And I appreciate you. And the Alabama fans appreciate you. This has been sensational. So, yes, let's keep in touch. And let me know when you're ready to do that, and I'll be there. Absolutely. And thank you so much. And have a wonderful day. And for all that didn't know you were having trouble with the DMV this morning, I hope your day picks up, George.
Yep, I just had to start saying roll tide. So roll tide, everybody, roll tide.
There you go. Thank you so much, George. We'll talk soon. Wow, what an amazing conversation with George Teague. Gosh, that was awesome. And I really felt like he took us behind the scenes of a lot of stuff that goes on in football that we don't realize. Just unbelievable conversation. And a special thanks to him for even coming on the show and talking to me. So super blessed. I hope you guys enjoy it. Also, follow George Teague on Twitter. It's @TeagueFootball. Great follow. He's a high school coach there in Texas, as he said. He does a fantastic job with those kids. Also, follow him on YouTube. Just type in George Teague, and his channel will come up. Subscribe there. I love his YouTube channel, and I really encourage you to go give it a listen. I just love the stuff he talks about, and he's just a smart, level-headed, good dude. And what a representative of Alabama football. Special thanks to George Teague for coming on the show. I appreciate it so much. Until next time, guys, roll tide and peace out.
He's crimson through and through. Really went south for game 2, rematch against LSU for the battle on the bayou in New Orleans. Now listen, fans showed up from miles around to watch a freight train mow a honey badger down to a familiar sound in that Cajun town.